So she let him. She was like, "No,
He
you're
had
not."
pity.
She's like, "No, you're not."
You do know you're left.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. She was like,
Yo, yeah,
"No,
okay,
no, no,
yeah.
no. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be funny when I go to gratefulness.
Yeah,
And we get a little more godlike. But it's he said, yeah, I am. She's like, "No, you're not." And he was like, yeah, I am. And her and her friend gave him 10 minutes each. And they found out real quick he wasn't, because he was way more like he knew what he was
lied,
doing. Yeah. So, but they were like, I'm happy. I'm happy we gave him the shot. And so I don't know. It was crazy. But anyway, You Control You podcast. Crazy. But anyway, we always start the podcast with what we're grateful for. Um, it's funny I'm about to say this, but I'm grateful for God, grateful for my family, grateful for everything that I have. Always trials and tribulations. I treat them as lessons. So yeah. How about you, sir? What are you grateful for?
Oh, everything. I don't know. Have a good job, good
Mm,
friends, good family.
nice. That seems easy enough. If you don't know already, I'm here with Patryk Piekarczyk. Piekarczyk?
Picard's like, yeah.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Piekarczyk. Yeah, there we go.
Not an easy one.
Owner of Overloaded Strength. And man, the man is a nutritionist, strength trainer, motivationalist. He I like the way he motivates people, to be honest with you. He's every time I think I'm mean, he listening to Patryk, he's a little bit more direct with it, and I it's teaching me how to be even more direct with people. Um, yeah. How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, fabulous. Really
That's
good. A
awesome.
little tired, but all good.
Well, that's what the Buckies is
Yeah,
for.
that's what. Yeah, I'll need a sponsorship before I endorse this brand.
Nice. So I met how I met Patryk is young man comes to my gym, wants to do Muay Thai, was doing Muay Thai at another gym in Illinois for a little bit, already familiar with the ground game, and he's just working, doing classes, and then he says he wants to fight. So I'm like, okay, sweet. And I've watched this young man go from a more stiff striker to now one of the most frustrating strikers I have in my gym for everybody, because now they were just talking about it this morning actually. When he throws kicks, you can guarantee if it's one, there's going to be three coming. If he's throwing three, there's probably going to be six coming. He's just doubling up his count on almost everything and really created his own style for striking. And I really love that. But from there, he's grown into a bigger role at the gym, his business. He's one of my partners. He's training all the fighters, making sure their eating's on point. So what what made you what inspired you to become a strength trainer, personal trainer, and nutritionist?
So half that I never actually ever wanted to do. I actually didn't
Mm,
want to do it. But going into high school, going into senior year, I was in Poland. I used to go there every summer. I was born there, and so I was there just hanging out. And I was thinking like, senior year is coming up. I got to think of something I want to do. And that cliche like you never work a day in your life. You love what you do, whatever.
mhm,
So like, well, what do I like to do? And at the time, I played percussion for like 8 years. And I'm like, well, I don't want to. If you go to school for music, your only career path is to be a music teacher. And like for one, back then especially, I didn't really like kids, so I'm not gonna do that. I didn't have much patience back then,
mhm,
so I'm like, I'm not gonna be teaching kids how to play the flute. And I had no interest in it, so I'm like, I'm not gonna be a music teacher. So I'm like, well, what else do I like? I'm like, well, I like working out. Um, and so I thought about stuff with that. And personal training is obviously one of those things you could do, but I didn't like working with people. I'm not like a
mhm,
people person back then, especially. And so I wanted to be a dietitian. I wanted to be a sports dietitian. So I went to school for dietetics. Um, and that's kind of what started. So dietetics is a pretty useless degree unless you do your internship. So I got done my internship, and I was looking on LinkedIn. I kind of reverse engineered like people that are sports dietitians, like with NFL teams, NBA teams, like D1 universities. What do they have? And all
mhm,
of them had master's degrees. So I'm like, well, I need a master's degree. So I went and got my master's. That summer leading up to that, I decided to personal train for 2 months because I'm like, this is the only thing I'm qualified for, and it pays better
mhm,
than McDonald's, so I might as well do
mhm,
it. And it's like semi-relevant, right? Like I'm working in the health field, so I was doing that, and I kind of liked it. I was like, this is cool. I get to work with people. I thought people didn't really need my help. I didn't really know until I started doing
Mm.
that. I was like, oh wow, people are actually like really need help with this stuff. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I thought personal training was pretty like just pretty easy. Like I thought you just like
Mm-hmm.
people knew what to do. You're just kind of there to yell at them. And I'm like, oh wait, no, people like don't understand form or they don't understand how to put stuff together. I was like, I always thought it was obvious.
Mm-hmm.
But I was also like watching like YouTube for like hours a day and like doing that stuff on my own. So I was like, oh, maybe it's not as obvious as I thought. I finished grad school, moved up here. The girl I was dating at the time lived up here, so I moved up here like after living at home for a few months. Got a job as a personal training manager, so I managed the department, trained some people as well. And there, like I did my internship for dietetics, but I decided like I really like the job I have now. And what I did was I wrote down actually like what my ideal day would kind of look like and what I'd be
Mm-hmm.
doing. And I like wrote everything down, like wrote from like, from the moment I wake up to the moment I fall asleep, what am I doing? And I'm like, shoot, I'm doing like 80% of this now.
Mm-hmm.
And like how close are you going to get realistically? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I think that's a big consideration people have to take when they're trying to find a career or a path. It's like you're never going to have 100%. Like there might be a case or time where somebody does, but if you get 80 or 90% there, it's like, dude, you already have it all.
Mm-hmm.
Like you
Yeah.
probably just don't realize it. So
Yeah.
yeah, and after working in the clinical field more so like interning in the hospital, I'm like, this kind of sucks, because you just go to like the patient rooms, a bunch of old ladies. It's like, hey Nancy, what'd you eat today? And she's like, oh, nothing. I'm not hungry. It's like, how would you like to maybe eat something today? And she's like, oh, I'll try. And then you come back later after, and she's like, oh, I wasn't feeling like it. When can I leave? I'm like, well, you're not eating, so they can't release you. Like
Yeah.
they got to be actually like a functioning person before you get out of this place.
Man.
So yeah, I decided like that was two. Those are problems I don't want to have to solve. So
Mm.
that could be, yeah, that just seems like a death sentence to be sentenced to have to work that every single day, just solving those kind of problems. So yeah, so I stay in the personal training field. Yeah, really long answer. Like in between there, I did some stuff like I've basically done a lot of stuff I said I'd never do. I said I never personal train. I do it like basically as a career now. I said I never work in strength conditioning. I did it for a job a little bit. I interned with University of Wisconsin strength conditioning with women's
Mm-hmm.
volleyball and swim and dive. A little bit with wrestling. Wrestling, I was just kind of watching. They didn't
Mm-hmm.
really want me interacting with them, but so
That's
yeah,
funny.
so did a little bit there.
So why I understand it at the start, why okay, I don't want to do this, but I'm doing this to sort of broaden your horizons, get you the experience. But now it's your gig. Now it's like your everything. Why what's keeping you in it?
Yeah, good question. I think a lot of it is you always have some kind of problem to solve.
Mm.
Um, and so with people, obviously everyone has different habits, different lifestyles, all that kind of stuff. A lot of the solutions are the same, but they're just still need to be customized. So for example, like most people are weak in the same ways,
Mm-hmm.
and they think they need like a special program when in fact they need like 90% of people need 90% of the same things,
Mm-hmm.
and they need a couple of differences. And that's kind of like blending like the art and the science of everything.
Mm.
Because some people get a little too scientific. They're like, well, if you look at these studies, and it's just like, oh, geez, dude. Like nobody takes that stuff into context, because
Yeah.
what's done in the lab is gonna be different than what's with a real person right in front
Yeah.
of you, and like the context and equipment and all that kind of stuff. So that's the thing now. It's just like learning more. So like right now, this week actually, I'm going to Miami in a couple of days. I'm doing a seminar that weekend. It's really cool. You go into classroom for 2 hours, then you train for an hour, and you apply what you just learned. Then you have a lunch break. You come back. You go in classroom for 2 hours, then you train again, and then you do that 2 days straight.
Oh,
So it's really cool.
nice.
So like you're learning and you're applying,
Mm-hmm.
and then I take that back to my clients. I think that's like an important thing to do. That's what's good about like just conferences and seminars, workshops, like going that kind of stuff. It gets you excited about doing your job again. I feel like
Mm.
that's kind of like the really cool thing about it. Then you learn like you might spend 1, 2, or a couple grand on this thing, and you might only learn one thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that one thing might be more than like anybody in the area
Yep.
knows,
Yep.
which is pretty cool. So
Oh, that sounds dope. So you touched on it. You were born in Poland.
mhm.
So wh- how what age did you come here? How old were you?
I was 2 years old. So yeah, I'm 30 now, so it would have been 28 years ago.
Okay. So how much do you believe being born in another country coming here? Now obviously you were too young, 2 years old. You're still you're not completely influenced by Poland, but your family
Mhm.
is.
Oh,
Your
sure,
your
yeah.
family is. So, how much do you think that's impacted your your ability to run a business here and work ethic?
Yeah, I think a lot of Americans honestly take like their status for granted in the
Mm.
world. It's probably gonna even cancel now, but I'm really proud to be an American. It's weird, like the most like the people most edgy about this stuff are like non like people that were born in America. If you
Mhm.
ask like a Polish immigrant, like, hey, are you like proud to be an American? They'll be like, yeah, I'm proud to be an American. I got my citizenship. Like they're really
Mhm.
proud of it. Same thing with like Mexican Americans a lot of
Mhm.
times. Whereas like Americans like, oh, like I don't know if you remember this growing up, but like in second grade, they're like, oh, what heritage are you from? And people be like, oh, I'm like 10% Norwegian, like 7% Finnish. I'm like 14% German. I'm like, you can't even quantify that, dude. Like nobody wanted to be like, I'm American,
It's
you know?
you know what, almost going on 45.
Yeah.
I didn't live through that.
Oh,
We
really?
didn't we didn't they
Yeah,
didn't
we
break
did,
us
man.
down. It was like you we it was like, no, we're just American, especially because we didn't have a major war, but we
Right, right.
had Desert Storm, we had conflict in the Middle East. So then I remember being in 4th grade and we were having conflict over in the Middle East and it was like,
Mhm.
"Nah, we're we're Americans, yo.
Yeah.
Can't bang with us."
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like it's never it's something I've seen more and more with
Mhm.
the next generations.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And so I think the I think I'm one of the last generations. It's probably between 35 and where I'm at.
Mhm.
We're like the last generation where we weren't so divided up that
Sure.
way.
Yep.
So, but continue. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's yeah. So I think people take that for granted a lot of times. Just seeing how like my dad moved here, the guy still doesn't speak any English, so he won't watch this podcast. But like he lives in Chicagoland, so like there's this is the second highest Polish populated city
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah.
Like Warsaw is first, the capital of Poland, and then literally there's nowhere else in Poland with more Polish people than Chicago after that.
Mm.
So it's huge. So he kind of got around by like just being lucky basically because he was in an area where there's a lot of Polish people.
Mm-hmm.
There's English definitely would have helped him, and like me and my mom agree on this. Like he's an idiot for not for not learning it. Like he could say like yes, hello,
Mm.
and like gas and like car and food, but he
Yeah.
can't like have a deep
Meaningful
intimate conversation
conversation.
with anybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just growing up, I saw him working really hard. He was really bad with his money, but he always just found a way to make more. So that was kind of like my mom says this all the time. She's like, he would work really hard, but then he would just like take a day or two off because he'd be working so hard, or he'd just go and spend it all on booze. It's just
Mm.
like so he like had that like working mentality. It's just like he wasn't very responsible.
Yeah.
And that's something that I didn't learn until I was like a real adult later
Mm-hmm.
on what he was doing with his free time. But just like seeing that, I could see him like work all night, come home in the morning, and just like sleep because he worked for like hours. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's from like morning to night, and he would do that pretty often. And he'd come home all like he was a truck mechanic, so he's still a truck mechanic. He has no 401k, no savings. Like he's just
Mm.
gonna work till the day he dies.
Yeah.
And like I knew that growing up. He never had to tell me either. I'm like, this
Mm.
dude's gonna work till the day he dies. Like I
Yeah.
just kind of knew. So that's what I saw growing up. He would come home, he's like covered in like motor oil. And he never like yeah, that dude loved being an American. He loved being here. It's really weird to me now. It's like I don't know where this perspective kind of came from. It's kind of like this edgy thing. It's like nobody's like proud of it anymore. And kind of
Mm.
takes it for granted. I think that does work against your work ethic too, because if you see like immigrant communities,
Mm-hmm.
like we didn't have a choice but to work hard. I didn't have the privilege of being like, or he didn't have my dad didn't have the privilege of being like, yeah, if I just go get a degree, I could work like a
Mm-hmm.
9 to 5. Like nobody's gonna hire this dude. Like he had he had to make it happen, dude. Like he had to
Yeah.
go fix truck. Can you imagine like running a business and not knowing any English? Like he was making business cards. What do you say? Be like, I fix truck, and he hands you a card or something.
Yeah.
Like I still have no idea how he does that thing. So yeah, it's incredible. He had basically like he had no choice, and that's kind of what you kind of realize growing up in like a immigrant family.
Wow. Wait, that's mind blowing. We've talked a lot. I don't know if I've never connected the dots. You've told me
Hmm.
before your dad doesn't speak really any
Oh
English,
yeah, yeah.
but that just shows you that anybody, there's no reason to be broke.
Oh
There's
yeah, no, yeah,
absolutely no reason to be broke.
yeah,
There's no reason that you should stay on your butt for a long period of time. I get
yeah.
it. You
No,
fall, you fail, you mess up, get up. But your dad doesn't speak any English or really any English.
There's people like that everywhere. It's just they're not on social media because they're
Yep.
working all the time. So
Yeah.
like if you were like born in this country and all you know was like I just have my American friends with like my rich
Mm-hmm.
suburban family. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that's all you know. You don't see like
Yeah.
the Mexican guy here or these guys in the tire shop or
Mm-hmm.
like I worked installing like granite countertops a couple summers. And like I didn't like work hard most of my life, so I don't want to like come off
Mm-hmm.
as like this blue collar guy. Like I had a very easy life growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna like deny that at all. It was very easy, mostly because of my dad. Like he even told me a few times he's a truck mechanic. He never taught me anything about a car. Like I
Mm.
don't even know how to change my own oil. He like showed me how to change the tire. He's like, good, and I'll never forget this. I'm not gonna show you again. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I like if my car tire goes out now, like I'm gonna have to YouTube it and figure it out. Because he didn't show me anything. He even told me one time, like, hey dad, why didn't you ever show me how to change your oil? He's like, I don't want you to have to work that hard. And I was like,
Mm.
oh, okay. Because he knows what it's like to work hard. He
Yeah.
just for me, my sister, he just didn't want us to have that ever. And so like I grew up a very easy life. Like for him,
Mm-hmm.
like he went through hell.
Yeah.
Like don't get me wrong.
Well, that
But yeah.
I mean, as a parent, that's what you want. That's why
Mhm.
they always say like hard life creates uh hard men, but hard men create soft times type of
Yep. Yeah.
thing. And
Yeah.
like
It goes in
and
circles.
people are starting to use that way more often now, but it's basically it's as a parent, that's what you want to do. You don't want your kids
Mhm.
to go through the same thing you did. And it's funny you well not funny, but the way you describe your dad is what we call like um a very survivor mind frame. Very
Mhm.
there's a word I'm looking for here. It starts with an S, but it's basically people that have had nothing,
Mhm.
they don't even think about saving.
Oh, sure.
It's that
Mhm.
it's a very it's a survival mind frame, but there's another word that's just not hitting my head right now, but it's where they're spending this money because they may die tomorrow. They're just
Right.
not they're not used to having it, so it doesn't matter to them. Everybody else is good, great. Now I'm gonna go spend my
Right. Yeah.
money
Yeah.
and because I'm showing up to work tomorrow type of thing. So
Yep.
that's but it creates a very hard worker. And so you learn that early on to work hard. You just learn how to work hard for the things you actually want instead of just working hard just to work hard. Would that be fair to say?
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Um, I never like it sounds kind of cliche too. A lot of the stuff I do, I'd be doing anyway, regardless if I got paid for it or not.
Mm,
That's kind of the weird thing that people don't like. Some of it for sure I wouldn't be doing. But other stuff like I'd be writing training. Like I would do this stuff in college all the time. I would just like write training programs.
mm,
I just get really nerdy about it. I geek out about it. I think it's really cool. So stuff like that, I'd be reading all the stuff I'm reading right now anyway. Like I'd be doing a lot of this stuff, like going to some seminars anyway. If I was working a finance job, I'd be like, oh, what's this thing in Miami where they're lifting weights twice a day together and learning stuff? I'd be there in like a heartbeat. I'd be like, yeah,
yeah.
let me go. So yeah, that's kind of like the weird thing, where it's like to me, like it sounds so cliche, but like to me, it's like not work a lot of the time, or if it is, it's like I just don't put that lens on it. I think that's
Mm,
where people get like I don't get burnt out. Like
mm,
I not only do I like I say that as uh, like a what's the word I'm looking for, like almost like an axiom or like a saying to like prevent myself from burning out. Like
mm-hmm.
I don't get burnt out. I don't
Yep.
get burnt out. I don't get tired. Like I say that stuff to myself too, but I actually don't either. Like it just doesn't feel that
It's
way
your
to me.
passion.
Yeah.
Like it's that's cliche for people to say, but the one thing that I'm trying to even with my kids is if you love to do it, you're not going to work. You're just living life. You you just believe you wake up, you go do the protocol with your clients that you already wrote, that you already worked out. You're just living your normal life. There's
Yep.
that to me is a blessing, and it's it's amazing because not enough people are taking the chance to figure out what they truly love to do.
Yep.
They're just like, I'm going to work this job I don't like, and I'm just going to settle for it here for a paycheck. And instead of taking the time to figure out what they actually love to do and figuring that out, and then letting that create a paycheck for them.
Yep.
And that's that's cool. I knew you were a nerd about this stuff.
Mhm.
One, I've known you long enough now to know that about you. But then, like Ryan talks about it, Lainey talks about it,
Mhm.
like you're reading a book or you're writing something or you're doing something. But the fact that if you worked a different job, you would still go
Oh
to
yeah,
these
yeah,
seminars.
yeah. I would do
And
all that
like
stuff.
that's a different level. That's a
Yeah.
different level of nerd. And like one, I respect it because I'm in a barbershop ready ready for my like waiting for my chance to sit in the chair and I'm
Mhm.
working on combos and I'm
All
working on
right.
drills and I'm like
Yeah, same
typing
thing.
stuff in my phone. I'm like just processing numbers through my head like, oh, if
Mhm.
I do this, if I do that, and at any point it's just like it doesn't stop. The one thing I'll give you credit for is you actually take not breaks, but you'll go do something with your life.
Mhm.
And I wonder if that attributes you from being burned out.
Oh,
Like
definitely.
you'll go to vacation somewhere, you'll go
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
something, and
I relax hard though. I said it to a client and she's like, "Well, you can't do that." I'm like, "I do what I want. I relax hard. I don't need like a week vacation. I don't need like 2 weeks. I don't need to like lay on the beach for hours. Like I made this as she thought I was joking. I'm like, I could lay on the beach for 20 minutes and like I'm good. Like I just get bored.
mm,
I'm good. I relax enough. I don't like people have these
mm-hmm,
really weird expectations. I remember like this is like semi on topic, but this kind of illustrates the point because it connects in a lot of ways in our life. Like I had a back when I was like dating again years ago. I went out with with the girl, and then she said something like, "She's like, oh, when did you break up with your girlfriend?" I was like, "Oh, it was like 2 weeks ago." She's like, "Oh, that's not soon enough. Like, or that's too soon. Like, you got to wait longer." I'm like, I mean, says who? Like, what are these arbitrary like numbers? Like,
mm-hmm,
how is like I'm already over it? And she's like, "You're not over it." I'm like, okay. I'm like, we met like 30 minutes ago. Like, I'm over it. Like, it's just like, why do we have these weird arbitrary like timelines in our head? And it kind of connects the same way. It's like, does this actually take this much time, or am I just putting this weird like construct on it, or it's just something I heard in passing? It's like, oh, you need to like take a week long vacation. It's like I could take a day or two. I'm good. Like I don't need to be out there for a week or two. And especially the way I do these trips and stuff. It's like it's very active. Like I'm going somewhere. I'm hiking. Like I'm not going to be hiking for 7 days straight. Like I like
mm-hmm.
hiking, but that's exhausting.
Yeah,
Like I got to do it for a day or two. I'll enjoy nature. Have a road soda or two, and then I'll be done.
I th- everything you just said, I was sitting there listening, and the biggest difference, because I think one of the reasons why we work well together just with the
Mhm.
gym aspect, even though if someone looked at us, we're built completely different,
Yep. Yeah.
but the mind frame is the same. We know what the hell we want, and that's I think most of society, especially like I can't speak on other countries, but I'll speak
Right.
on our country. A lot of people don't know what they want,
Mhm.
and so they if the relationship ended, right? Okay, the relationship ended. What is it that I want? I, I'll take my day or two, lick my wounds, move on, move on with life because I know what I want. I want to go forward. As far as a day off or even taking an hour off, it's like I know what I want. Cool. I got my hour chill time or 20 minutes on the beach.
Yeah.
Back to work. I'm good. I'm like my mind is clear. And so um watching you, and let me give you kudos on this one because it's fun because a couple times today I'll be able to say I learned stuff from you.
Mhm.
And for me that's so big. Like I don't want to be around people unless they're learning from me and I'm learning from them.
Yep.
And watching you have fun, I've along with my wife, I've started adding those things into my life. It's like, oh, because I would just go nonstop and be like, I love this,
Yep.
but why do I not want to be around people right now? Well, 7 days a week I'm around people. I'm not taking any me time.
Mhm.
And and then when I take me time, it's like, no, I don't want to be gone for a week.
Right.
I just I just need a little time.
Just a little piece.
Like
Yeah.
like let me be away from everybody.
Well, it's almost offensive. Like if you take a week, anybody, not just Mark here. If you take a week long trip away from your wife, it's like you just make your spouse feel bad. Like,
Oh
well, what did
yeah.
I do? It's like,
Yeah.
dude, I just need to be alone. But that's why you just got to do it in like a day or two.
Yeah, like I usually go someone said that's Madden time. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
man.
So for me right now, it's NCAA.
You got the
It's
run out clock.
yeah, it's an NCAA football right now. Creating a character. It could be Call of Duty. It could be Madden. It could be down in my basement, uh, with Netflix on, working on my computer, away from the entire world.
Yep.
Just get away from me. And but yeah, so that's one thing I've definitely learned uh from you. I didn't know, and it's something I've learned over time, and my wife, and just taking that time.
I'm big too on like I've been doing this for the last couple years. I don't know if you noticed this, but like this thing in Miami I'm doing. It's Saturday Sunday, so there's a seminar Saturday Sunday, but the 2 days before that I'm just hanging out. So it's like
Oh
if
yeah,
I do something, like if I go somewhere, I'll take a day or two and just hang out too.
yeah.
So kind of like you get a little bit of like a vacation and
Mm-hmm.
work thing together,
Mm-hmm.
which I've been liking. You don't need to take as much time off
Yeah.
either because it's not like a separate vacation I have to plan.
Yep.
I'm also going to like a conference in Quebec with my buddies in May, and it's the same thing. Like it starts, it's just a Saturday conference, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting there I think Friday morning, hanging out Friday with him, and then we're doing the conference Saturday and then leaving.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same thing. It's like taking that another day or two there. It's just
Yeah.
so it's not so rushed either.
You get to enjoy it.
Yeah,
No,
totally.
that's super dope. Now, this is where this what shocked me is you're living your good life, working. You come into the gym a couple times a week, and I'm like, okay, this is his life. Kind of cool. I want to fight. When you hit me with that, I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, ah, I don't think he needs mental help. Like, meaning I didn't think I had to like break you mentally or anything like that.
Mm,
You never gave off those vibes to me.
sure. Yep.
And I'm like, well, let's see what he could do. So what was the catalyst? What was that switch? Why did you want to fight initially?
This is also one of those things where I said I'd never do. And so I'm really good. You know, that's like the funny thing. I said I never personal train. I do a job with it now. I said I never work straight conditioning. So like, there's so many things I said. I literally in my head, I remember I said I will never do this. Like
Mm-hmm.
not like a thought came through, but like I
Mm-hmm.
said, like out loud, a voice in my head came and said, I will never do this. When I first started Muay Thai, I was like, oh, this is cool, but like I would never fight. This is
Mm-hmm.
insane. Like I can't imagine somebody kicking me in the head. Like you guys voluntarily do that. That's nuts. Like I literally said to myself, never will I ever. Yeah, and I just started doing it more, and I'm like, what's the point if I'm not gonna? What's the point? Like, how am I gonna learn this if I don't put myself in some real danger?
Mm.
Another thing was like I thought it'd be cool to train fighters, and I just like no disrespect to the people that do this, but like I I personally would not feel good about like training a fighter and never being in there.
Yep.
Like I had somebody messaging me this morning, and I'll throw some shade at you guys if you're watching this. Uh, Most of you that I would throw shade at, I could beat up anyway, so I'm not too concerned. So like, I had someone message me this morning, and they said that their legs are hurt and they might modify the workout. And I'm like, did you see the workout? They said no. I'm like, I very little sympathy for you because like last year my legs were beat up and I was squatting the next day just fine, or running, my legs are hurt. It's just like I really don't care. I don't like I've done it before, and that's something I can do because of experience,
Yep.
and I know it's not going to hurt you. Another thing with it was that I found interesting. Like I'm very big on the motto of my business. Used to be Integra Performance, now Overload Strength. Like be about it. So it's like if I'm like really into something, like I'm gonna be about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like part of it's like the first fight that I had, I trained a certain way, and then I realized there was gaps in the training or stuff I did wrong, and so I needed to do another one to figure that out. And I just didn't like that I lost.
Yeah.
So I needed to kind of like do both those things. Um, but that was kind of like the catalyst. It was like I needed something difficult. There was the concept of the misogi. I heard that was interesting, where it's like I'm gonna butcher this. I think it's like a Japanese thing,
Mm-hmm.
where they just pick like one hard thing to do in a year. You're supposed to not train for it though. And that part, I was like, well, I'm not gonna not train for a fight. That's
Yeah.
kind of stupid.
Yeah.
But they'll do stuff like they're like, oh, I'm gonna swim like across this channel, or I'm going to like go under this cold waterfall for like an hour, or like something like that. Something just
Mm-hmm.
difficult where there's like a 50% chance of, of,
Mm-hmm.
of making it. And that's what a fight is. There's a 50% chance of me winning or losing.
Yes.
There's like it could draw, but like it's there's no draws in amateur fights.
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna happen.
No.
And like TBAs, they'll just throw an extra round at you.
Yep.
So
Yep.
there's not gonna be a draw unless you both die. Like there's not gonna be a
Mm-hmm.
draw. So that was kind of part of it too. It's like I need to do something so difficult that it summons all my attention and focus, and it has to actually have consequence. I think that's a big reason people don't reach their goals. And I kind of talked about this on Instagram last week. There's no severe consequences. So it's like, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds. Like, what happens when you don't reach it? It's like, maybe I'll try again in a few months. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, you should be so devastated and get like this is where people disagree with me, but you should be so devastated and then get in such a bad depression because you didn't hit your goal
Mm-hmm.
that like it just like devastates you completely. It almost ruins your life. There shouldn't be a goal that's like inconsequential. Like you shouldn't make a goal and the outcome is like, oh, I'm fine. It's like, dude, when like I was not fine. Like after I didn't show it the second fight, but when I lost, like I wasn't happy about it. Like afterward, I was like fine. Like I was hugging the dude. We were smiling, whatever. I cried in the shower after because I didn't want I didn't want
Mm-hmm.
to show that vulnerability and like I had a whole team. I didn't want to like bring the mood down.
Mm-hmm.
But later I cried on my own because I wasn't happy about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I think one thing when people set their goals, it's too easy and there's no consequences. So it's like if I'm not even gonna feel bad because I'm not hitting it, the goal is either not big enough or not important to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a really big thing that people need to consider. And that's where your life can make these tangents, right? Like if it's like fighting or something that's like really not you or a
Mm-hmm.
person like you
Mm-hmm.
would do. That's where you got to test yourself because that's like the unfamiliar. That's like the Wild West. That's like
Mm-hmm.
man's call to adventure kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. No,
Long answer, but
I know that was it was money because when after you fought the first time, I, Ryan's the only one that I knew would ever fight again.
Mhm.
Ryan and Jesse. Everybody else, it's like, well, let's see.
Yeah.
And let's see if the body holds up because it's brutal.
Mhm.
It's so brutal. And you were like, no, I want to do it again. I want to win the title. But you also wanted to do a better job training. And
Yeah.
that blew my mind. Who signs up for a fight so they can get better at training? I
Well,
was
I
like,
thought about it too. I'm like, I got a whole year to to do all the little things right now.
mm-hmm,
I'm gonna be so much better. Like it's like I don't think people think about the process enough either too. It's just like there's so many little things you could do that compound to make such a bigger
yep,
result.
yep,
And what if like a big thing I was thinking of like on days where I was tired or not feeling it or moody or whatever, I was moody a lot. Like a lot of those days, just like, well, what can I got like we got 2, 3, maybe 5 minutes on this drill. What's one thing I can make better? What's one
mm-hmm,
thing I could do? And it's like sometimes I would do nothing. I'd be like, I'm trying not to swear, but I'd be like, darn it, like I got nothing out of that, and then I'd be mad at myself. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to get better at one thing, and so it's like it was the thing of like I'm training my focus too. I'm training my ability to
yes.
to hone in my mindset on these things. And that's one thing.
Ah,
The second time I wanted to improve mostly too. I was like, I know there's like stuff I'm leaving on the table in terms of like my focus or my process of how I do things, because that's really applicable to anything, right? It's
mhm,
like you could put a lot of effort to something, but if it's the wrong type of effort, like
mhm,
all your work didn't matter.
yep,
Like I could put in, we could both work 60 hours a week, but it's like I could just be wasting my time and you could actually be like building something productive
yep,
or like the outcome's different in a different
yep,
way. So it's the same thing here. It's like if I could focus on the right drills or like doing the right things in training, like maybe I train the same as my opponent, but I train better
yeah,
now. Or the same as my teammates, but I was more focused or like I
mm-hmm.
actually try to like get the intent out of the drill. So that was like another big part of it too, just kind of trying to hone in the process.
No, those I don't. I think people really miss very often. They miss, and it's so one thing I notice is the hardest thing for me to coach brand new people
Mhm.
because they're missing the intent. They're missing the understanding of what they have to do.
Mhm.
It's like come into the gym, be ready to go. I shouldn't have to motivate you. I shouldn't have to get you in the right mind frame. Be ready to go. Be ready to fight because the more you train that way, the more your brain will relax in those situations instead of being, oh my God, I'm in a fight.
Mhm.
And the drills become easier. It fixes your cardio. Um, it fixes everything the more you can train with that intent and focus for the activity that you're doing. And I think we both agree on that one. And it's been a lot of fun also learning from you because you're coming at fighting from a whole different aspect than how I'm coming at it. Because
Yeah.
I didn't go to school to be a trainer. I didn't go to school to be a dietitian. I came into this fighting.
Mhm.
Like, and being told what to do, how to eat, do all this stuff. Well, I didn't follow it this way. That didn't. Okay, I got to do better. And just getting better as a fighter and coming at it from that aspect. Even the fact that it's funny because I implement these drills a little bit more now.
Mhm.
We'll do 15 or 20 seconds sprints,
Mhm.
hitting pads hard, doing something hard, break for 30 seconds to a minute. So that way they have max energy.
Yep.
And I'm like, I learned that from you.
Oh, nice.
It's like you were like, you do these, you have us punch 30 to 45 seconds, and that's great. That's creating a different kind of cardio and
Mhm.
and it's really creating mental toughness to do it for long periods of time. He was like, but you can maximize this if you do it this way. And I was like, huh. And then you talked about what MMA people are doing this and other trainers. And then I'm like, okay. And I start researching. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, so if I have them go hard for 15 seconds, they can blow out their entire lung capacity doing something hard or doing something fast and then give them a longer time to recover. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of like a fight. Oh, wait a minute. That's exactly how they had me training for my last couple fights
Mhm.
on a row machine. Go so hard that you redline. And when you hit that red line, shut it down. And then you recover really fast. And then redline again. I'm like, oh,
Yep.
that makes sense. So that's something I learned from you, but I wouldn't have learned it if you didn't fight.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, you may have picked it up in research,
Yep.
but you wouldn't have known it firsthand.
Mhm.
And that's so dope. And Patrick was probably I don't know if I've had an athlete in better shape
I was
than
never an athlete growing up either, so that was the
as
weird
well.
thing for
That's
me.
like you and Ryan get in Anthony too. By the time we go
Especially
into a fight, you guys are probably the best in shape people, and it's fun for me to coach that
Mhm.
because I'm never worried about a gas tank then.
Yep.
And I try to explain it to people, and I sometimes I'll get there's some funny comments going, but it's like what saved me, especially in my last couple go rounds, is fighting at super heavyweight and having a bigger gas tank than everybody else, and
Mhm.
knowing I have a bigger gas tank because the data said so. It's
Yep.
like I could see it takes me really long to redline. I can get out of that really fast. And then it takes me a while to redline again. And it was like watching you go through that training was a lot of fun. Um,
I actually, yeah, we could kind of talk about this too, but um, y- you guys probably like whoever's listening to this probably don't hear this stuff as often as I do. But there's a concept called overtraining.
mm-hmm,
And like CT Fletcher talks about a lot too. That there's no such thing as overtraining
mm-hmm,
and all this stuff. It's kind of like a boogeyman because most people don't train hard enough to know what overtraining
mm-hmm,
is. And honestly, most people are so soft that like even just 3 days straight of working out, they're gonna overtrain.
mm-hmm,
But I legit overtrained that second time because I took my testosterone was 100 and something total, and just like a normal reference rate is like 200 to 800.
mm-hmm,
So like most men should be like in between that kind of
mm-hmm,
mostly like 500 600, and I was so low that I wasn't even in like the bottom range, just because I was like training so hard. Part of it was sleep and diet related too. It's because it's really hard to be like that objective with yourself
mm-hmm,
because you always think at least me like I'm very whatever in my head about this stuff where I'm just like I'm fine, I'm just a little tired. I didn't realize I was just destroying myself hormonally. But that's what I'd rather have because I knew going in the that fight I was like, man, I like literally just chemically killed myself.
mm-hmm,
Like there's no more I could have like done here. So if I
mm-hmm.
lose, I lose. Like what? Like I'll be upset about it by a little bit, but you can't be too mad about that. There's nothing more that I could have done at that point. And I think most people just don't know what that they don't know what that line is
Mm-hmm.
because they're not willing to kind of like push the boundaries of what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a lot of people are more capable than they think they are,
For sure.
in a lot of ways, like physically, mentally, all that kind of stuff. And it's just like they never, especially in like regular life, we just never push those boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
So
It's I just said it yesterday. I want it to be at a point where I'm telling you to go sit down.
mhm,
Like chill. You're done. You're done.
yeah,
Like chill. Be mad at me for that.
mhm,
I want like, and that's how you guys were. It's like I want you to be mad that I'm telling you to sit the hell down. Like, good. I don't have to fix your mind now.
mhm,
Your mind's already locked in. You're ready for war. It's just now we just got to put you, make sure you make it to the ring as healthy as possible and go. Like that was, it was especially the second go around. It was an
mhm.
honor to coach you. It was so much
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
fun. I wanted the I like I really wanted that win, but
Same.
it was yeah, I know. It was
I thought I was winning until later.
yeah,
So it is what it
it
is.
was
That's the one thing I am proud of that we'll say. Like I think if at the end of the day, if you go in there and like you put it all on the line, and then like you fight so good that like you brought the best out of that person and you lose. Like I think that guy
mhm,
fought the best fight he could have fought that day,
mhm.
and like that's an honor to me. Like he gave me
Yep.
everything he had, even after like what he said to me after we were done and the way he was talking to me. Like I know that that man gave me everything. That was the
Mhm.
best he probably fought like ever.
Mhm.
And like I know personally, like I demanded his best. And
Mhm.
it's like what more, like first of all, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like that's why it's like a very like happy feeling. I think it's like a
Yes.
very it's like a form of unconditional love. It's like it's just me and this person,
Mhm.
and like we're trying to get the best of each other
Yep.
in the most brutal way possible. But it's like I'm trying to pull the best out of you and you're trying to
Mhm.
pull the best out of me. That's why at the end it's like such a respectful thing. I think it's
Yes.
like I know like you were giving me everything, and you were thinking about nothing else except me.
Mhm.
And that's basically love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You both were 100% in the moment. That I
mhm.
mean, uh, now now you're touching on aspects that I love talk like that I talk about all the time in the gym. It's like it's a beautiful dance
Mhm.
that you have my full undivided attention. Nothing else in this world matters. There could be a fire over to my left. I don't care. You're the only thing that matters to me right now. And it's this weird thing because you would only think about that in love, in a
Mhm.
marriage.
Yep.
But now I got to brutally mess you up. And it's so much fun. Now, with that, someone says you control you. Control is an illusion, so is the you. That's an interesting concept. I do believe control can be an illusion if you're not controlling yourself. You are in control of you. You do control your actions, you do control yourself. You have two people here that believe in God. I God gives us a choice. So we can choose to go down this path or we can choose to go down this path. We're in control of our path, what we do. So we are in control of our own machinery and what we're doing. So interesting comment there. Now, what was your first I need to take control of my life moment
Ooh.
that you can remember?
Yeah, I mean, I think I always had a good idea of what I wanted, at least in the short term. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this year and the next year, like eventually like working towards being that sports dietitian or working towards this job. When I lost that a few years ago, because of something that happened, a relationship that ended essentially. And then I was kind of thinking, I was like, man, it feels like I'm kind of like purposeless now. Like there's
Mm,
nothing that I kind of really want to do. And I was like, I kind of got to fix that right away. Like I knew it was a problem. Like I was
mm-hmm.
like, and I don't really know what to do about it. So I never had this problem before. But I'm like, everything seems pretty meaningless. I wasn't like suicidal or anything, but I was like,
Mm-hmm.
everything seems pretty meaningless. I don't really know what I want anymore, which is really scary for me because
Mm-hmm.
I had so much certainty at the time. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I want these things. Then all of a sudden, I was like, oh, I don't want anything. I just don't want to feel so empty anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it was kind of like, well, I know I just have to like just try more things
Mm-hmm.
essentially. But that's actually when I found you. So
Mm.
that was around kind of like that time, like that October. It was like a month or two, kind of into that in that self discovery. Is a cool word for it now, I guess. Um, And yeah, and then it kind of kicked off from there when I wanted to sign up for a fight and everything else. So
That's powerful.
yeah,
That's
all the coincidence, I'm sure.
I mean, the universe works in interesting ways. Um, it's what is it with relationships? It's like if we're in a really good relationship,
Mhm.
it it does incredible things with us. When we get out of a relationship, it does really incredible things for us. It's like, my God, but you can't get
Just
out
can't
of
start.
one
Yeah.
unless you get in one, and it's like, nah. It's so weird how we can't just do these things just on our own. It's like how other people come in and help us with our lives. So okay, what I want to give you, this might be my last kudos here.
Oh, okay.
Now, um, one of the things mm, that I think people, I don't know, you know what? Honestly, I'm sure people go through it. I don't know. I'm gonna assume they are because I'm not egotistical and I don't think I'm the only one that's experienced this. But I know it's taken me a very long time to learn how to train for something other than activity, and it's something that I've
Mhm.
talked to you about. If you don't know, Patrick gives me my workouts. Like he has a workout protocol for me. Follow that, and uh, well, that's a foot, but yeah, sometimes I'm sore. Yeah, there's a soreness. It hasn't been that it's starting to get bad again. My arms felt it after yesterday.
Yeah.
My arms, like I
Back.
couldn't bend my arm. Like this is all I could bend it. I could feel my triceps burning out of my arm right now. So kudos
It's a
to
good day.
Patrick. Yeah, that's what I
It's a
thought.
really good
That's
day.
um but if I wasn't training for a football match, wrestling, or sports activity,
Mhm.
I was training for a fight, doing something. It was like always doing something. And finding that motivation, and you just broke things down. He was like, broke things down a lot easier for me to comprehend. Like, well, we're training for this and we're training for that, and we're gonna do this and we're gonna make this better. And I love the fact that you always built workouts around certain things. Now, so one, kudos for that. And I love how there's some trainers that just don't work around as many injuries or work around uh people as much.
Mhm.
And the one thing I've seen is how you have Ryan or Matt train at the gym, or maybe Anthony do things, isn't the same way you would have me, Jordan, or Malcolm do things. Jordan might be able to do some of those same things,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
you work around everybody's body type, everybody's injuries, everybody's everything. And to me, that just tells me that you really understand your job and you've become a master at it,
Mhm.
because you are so willing and so able to make it work for
Oh yeah.
whoever. There is no, you can't do this. There is,
We'll
well,
find a
let's do
way.
it. Yeah, let's do it this way. No,
Yeah.
that doesn't work. Let's do it this way, and let's do it this way. And it really, now doing the workouts on my own, working with you for a short period of time to get ready for my black sash. And that's the other thing. I wouldn't have been ready for my black sash. There's
Mhm.
no way I would have been ready because I wasn't, I personally could not, you know what I could have? I didn't want to push myself
Mhm.
to certain limits on my own. That fighting aspect was gone.
Yep.
And so having you do it, like I survived that test mainly because of you. And so kudos for that. And then working with you now, because I would I would look at some workouts and be like, oh no, I could do this. I don't care about my knee. I don't care about my leg. I don't care about
Yeah.
my arms. I'm gonna do this. And well, how's this feel? How do your legs feel today? Oh, they're okay. Well, let's try this. And it's like without having, I never had to say it too much. You just sort of read and
Mhm.
reacted. And now when I look at workouts, it's like, my knee is shot. What's the other workouts he's got here? Oh, there's 10 other
Yep.
ways I could do this. Great. Let's do this one because I'm pretty sure this won't kill my knee, but I'll still be able to work that muscle
Yep. Still
group.
get something.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I mean, I did that yesterday with one of the workouts. I ended up just using dumbbells instead of the bar.
Mhm.
So basically doing toe touches. What I can't remember what the workout's called right now.
Like RDLs or something,
Yeah,
Romanian deadlifts.
yeah, Romanian deadlifts. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was like, if I do this with the bar, I'm gonna I'm gonna probably wreck my knee a little bit more, but I'm gonna
Mhm.
kill my shoulders more than they're already
Sure. Yep.
dead. But I knew with the dumbbells,
Mhm.
I could still get the same work. And I'm like, I could only do that because you've put it in my head that that's okay.
Yeah.
It's
You
like
gotta be able to modify.
yeah, when it comes to workouts, I become a soldier again. When I'm coaching, El Capitan. But when I'm working out, I want to be the soldier. I don't want to be in charge.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
just tell me what I'm doing here, sir.
Just take the command.
Yeah, just tell me what I'm doing. And so kudos because you really have to be a master at what you do
Mhm.
to get people to believe that. And
Yeah. It's tough.
and I don't want you I I really want you to understand how big that is.
Mhm.
And as a coach, I have to do that often.
Yep.
So it's like I can recognize that skill set. That's like
Mhm.
kudos to you on that, man, for sure.
Yeah, and that's where like one thing with fitness that people don't realize there really needs to be there can't just be like a one size fits all kind of approach.
Mm-hmm.
That's where like a lot of new trainers, like the biggest problem I see with people kind of getting into this industry and even other trainers, like if somebody's looking for a trainer, um, like a question I would ask the coach or trainer you're looking at would be like, what do your workouts look like? And let me
Mm.
see your training plan. If they don't have a training plan, red flag, run 100 yards the other way because that is a huge red flag. If they don't by training plan, I don't just mean like Monday I work chest, Tuesday I work shoulders. It's like okay, like 100 sets, like 20 sets,
Mm-hmm.
like what exercises, like what tempo, what rep range, how
Mm-hmm.
what's your rest period look like, how does that look 4 weeks from now? So that's a program, that's periodization. That's what we call like the planning of training.
Mm-hmm.
If your trainer just like kind of does random workouts, guess what? They're gonna do random workouts with you
Mm-hmm.
and workouts still get results like plans, training plans, programs get
Mm-hmm.
results. It's kind of like if we just like, hey, for your fight, how we're going to train you is you're just going to come in and we're going to do whatever. We're just going to hit some pads for the next 12 weeks. It's like that's not going to work. There needs to be a sequence. Like the way we spar is going to be different like in the beginning
Mm-hmm.
than in the end. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? You're not just going to go hard in the beginning, sometimes hard in the middle, sometimes hard in the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with like football or any kind of sport when you kind of explain to people this way. It's not like if you're on a basketball, I never played a lick of basketball in my life,
Mm-hmm.
but what I would assume is you don't just like go there and the coach is like, yeah, just like kind of shoot some threes, and then
Corey's
like,
a basketball coach.
yeah, so we do Corey just like, yeah, you guys can kind of like shoot some free throws and like kind of run around a bit, and then tomorrow we'll like also run around a bit and shoot some free. Like there needs to be some structure, but when it comes to personal training, like like we hire these coaches who are just like, yeah, let's do it. Like I do chest Monday, so you do chest Monday. It's like, dude, it's a 55-year-old woman with a double shoulder replacement. She
Yeah.
doesn't even. She works out twice a week. Why is she working her chest?
Mm-hmm.
Like that doesn't make any sense. Like so that would be my like first kind of initial question if I was like hiring a coach, like what does your plan look like? Because again, like someone needs to be living that code. They need to be about it. If they're not about it,
Mm.
it's like I don't want to work with you. I don't want to talk to you. That's the same thing with like picking like a martial arts gym. It's like I want to go where there's like people fighting. I don't want to go like if I was a 45-year-old soccer mom, like maybe I'll go somewhere with soccer moms if I want to be a soccer mom. But I don't. I want to go somewhere where people are punching each other really hard. And so I'm gonna so I'm gonna find a place that does that and a coach that likes that kind of stuff. It's the same thing with a personal trainer. If your personal trainer looks like mashed potatoes and they don't follow a program, and they're like, "Yeah, we do chest on Tuesday and calves on Wednesday," it's like, what kind of? Yeah, it's just so
Yeah,
weird to me, man. Yeah, the
that's
lack of
funny.
structure is crippling.
So I do have a question based on that now.
Mhm.
And this was the question I told you I couldn't warm you up with.
Okay.
So this goes, this is addressing people in a nonchalant way. Knowing that you train the way you do, knowing that you plan the thing way you plan, knowing that you look the way you look, why would you why would you trust yourself to be coached by someone that is a big guy? when you know
Mhm.
the way you look at training is a certain way.
Like I'm learning tactics from you.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So it's like if I was like, I wouldn't hire you to make me like look better. Like that's for sure. You know, to be real. But like if you're telling me like I could tell you fought. I know you fought people,
Mhm.
and you know fighting. So it's like I'm like I want a guy that knows fighting to teach me fighting. I don't need him to look like an Abercrombie model. It's probably better that he doesn't actually. And yeah, it's just like a yeah. But if it's like a trainer, it's like your job is fitness. Like you don't have to look
Yeah.
like Arnold in his prime, but like you have to not look terrible.
Yeah.
Like or at least like train, at least have some like
Yes.
redeeming performance qualities. Because you might have a coach that's like a little bit bigger, but they're really strong, for example.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna go to that guy for strength, you know.
Yep.
I might not go to him to have like a better bicep peak.
Yeah.
But I don't care about that stuff anyway. So it's just like, yeah, that's like there's a difference kind of between sports tactics. And I think I scheduled this post to go out to the fighters like tomorrow or something. Talking about how like you can't just go to class to get your cardio up. Like the point of like kickboxing class isn't for cardio. The point of like practice for basketball or practice for football isn't cardio. That's something like I can give you the guidance on, but you need to do it on your own because I'm not going
Yes.
to look at you for 30 minutes on a treadmill at a heart rate zone. Like I could tell you just to do 5 minutes in this zone, 3 minutes in this zone, whatever, like this interval, that
Yeah.
interval. I need you to do that. You shouldn't need me to be there
Yeah.
to stare at you while you're on a treadmill or like while you're running like laps. Like if you want to pay me for that, I'll take your money and watch you do it. But I haven't gotten any money yet, so I'm not going to go there out of my own free will.
Yeah.
Like I'm a nice guy, but I'm busy, you know, and I
Yeah.
got people that actually like want and value my advice too. So I'm
Yeah.
going to help them first. And that's kind of like the main thing. You need to like the class is more about tactics and like technique. And
Mhm.
same thing with like sports training. It's like I'm taking myself to the sport to learn like basketball. I'm going to learn drills and skills that I need to get better at basketball. I'm not getting better condition.
Mhm.
This also goes to like parents training taking their kids to practice or like taking their kids to strength and conditioning facilities. This is a big problem we see with like youth strength conditioning, where parents are like taking their kids to like a coach, which is like a dude in a garage somewhere. And he just like making them run cone drills. It's like, well, they're already doing that 6 days a week at basketball
Mhm.
practice. Why not make them stronger? Like, I think Louis Simmons had this quote. He was a strength coach, rest in peace. But he had a quote about, he's like, if you take 10 strong kids and 10 weak kids and make them play football, you could have 10 injured kids.
Mhm.
They're like, the strong kids are just going to beat up the weak kids and they're
Mhm.
just going to go home crying. Like strength matters. And it's such a weird thing where like nowadays, like we just devalue it because everything on social media is like, get these like flashy drills, like Saquon Barkley, look what he's doing. It's like, that's literally one of the greatest running backs of all time. Like how he trains is not how you should train.
He's a Philly fan.
Yeah. Yeah. That
Yeah, but
Giants
he's
fan
also
is
strong as hell.
yeah, he was, and his squat form is beautiful. He could power clean 405 pounds. So people like they like they pretend that stuff doesn't exist and like, oh look, he's doing chondros, I'll do that. I'm like, he's power cleaning 405 pounds.
Yeah.
Like strength needs to be your strength is the foundation of everything. Like you
Yep.
can't build speed and power without strength. You can't have injury resistance without strength. You can have endurance without strength, but then you'll be feeble. So
Yep.
like an example of that's like a marathon runner. It's like, yeah, they could run long distances, but those are like low forces over a long period of time. If
Yep.
I introduce a lot of forces, like a lot of them also have fractures, like micro fractures in their shins. That's what like part of the problem with running so much. You know what I mean? So it's like
Mhm.
they're still porous and feeble individuals for the most part. So I probably offended bunch of runners. I could offend some more people by giving my opinion on
Oh,
yoga.
we're getting to that.
Okay.
We're getting to that. We're getting to that.
Okay. I don't know
We're
how
definitely
spicy you
getting
want to get.
we're getting to that. No, it's something I believe you've said it. I've heard it on I know I've heard it on a Rogan podcast before where they're talking about if you want to live longer and have a functional life when you're old,
Mhm.
you need strength because
Yep.
your muscles and how strong you are and how much you use those muscles. That's what keeps everything together
Well,
as you get
yeah,
older.
it's largely your nervous system, right? So that's part of the reason we have things like Alzheimer's and dementia going up because like think about it. What you have now is like if I retire at 65, like what do most people do? They basically do nothing,
Mhm.
and they don't have like most people just day to day. Like, hey, what do you do outside of work? They're like, I watch TV. Have you seen the new episode of whatever? I'm like, dude, I don't. I watch TV on the weekend with my girlfriend sometimes, fiance. And like that's like I don't go home and watch TV. Like
Mhm.
that's literally my nightmare to live a life where like I go to work, I come home and I watch TV. Like
Mm.
get out of here, man. So like I like that's a big problem we have now. It's like your brain just goes to rot because you just go home, you just sit all day,
Mm-hmm.
you're inactive, you're not like stretching your brain at all. And part of like exercise and movement is also using your brain. That's like athletic problem solving. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm working out, I'm not just like a big dumb meathead pushing dumbbells. Like I'm like, oh, I got to rotate my hand in a little bit here. I'll be
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, that one felt a little funny. Let me try this. And people kind of like they don't have that connection,
Mm-hmm.
or they don't have like that thing they do outside of work, and their brains and nervous system just slow down. And then you get things like dementia, things like Alzheimer's. You lose function in your shoulders or knees or other joints. So, for example, like if my shoulder never goes here, or I never like reach backwards, your brain is like the most remarkable thing. Like the brain is such an amazing thing, and your body is such like the fact that we exist is like a
Mm-hmm.
miracle. Like the fact that people don't believe in miracles, but you exist, like it boggles my mind. Like it's crazy. But basically, your body, like if I never go in that range, for example, my brain will just prune that range as if it never exists.
Mm-hmm.
So my brain will be like, hey, you never go here, so I'm not going to remember what that feels like or looks like. I'm just going to make you not go there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get like to here, and then you like slowly lose mobility over
Mm-hmm.
time. It's the same thing with muscle, right? Like if I gain a lot of muscle by training really hard, if I don't train for a week, I start like I don't lose all of it, but I start to lose some of it. You know what I mean? Because your body is so efficient, there's no reason for it to have all this metabolically active tissue
Mm-hmm.
that has to spend energy and resources on just for you to not use it.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you lose your brain if you don't use it, you lose your muscle if you don't use it, you lose your speed, your power. That's your nervous system activity if you don't use it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's like kind of the big thing where strength is the platform and the foundation of that, because that trains all those things too.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be a foundation.
I love it because I love being strong. I love I love when
Strength is never a weakness.
I love when I see all the guys and they're going for a deadlift. Me and Ryan just had this happen like right before my procedure.
Mhm.
He was deadlifting and I forget, it was like over 300 or it was something. And I was like, I haven't done this in a while. I don't know if I could lift it. And then I lifted up. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. I'm strong.
I still got
Yeah, yeah, I'm strong. I'm strong. And so I also love the fact that you say all that,
Mhm.
but the one thing, and it goes back to you adjusting the training. You you never have me going stupid on heavy weights.
Oh yeah, you don't need to. There's
Yeah,
actually
yeah, and for me, before you go into the science
yeah.
of it, for me, I know that's beautiful because my body is just worn.
Mhm.
So it's good to build strength or be able to keep that strength without completely blowing out a shoulder and not being able to move for a week. So
Yeah, and kind of like the like for strength especially, you don't need to really go to like total exhaustion. It's actually better that you
mhm,
don't. For gaining muscle, like yeah, exhaust yourself, like just
yeah.
kill yourself, and probably higher reps because it's safer. That's the main thing. Like you can gain muscle doing sets of one, and you can gain muscle doing sets of 30.
Hmm.
You can gain muscle doing sets of 10. You can gain muscle doing anything. That's what the research is pretty clear on. And again, I have a master's degree, but I hate I hate using research and science for this stuff because a lot of times like we have to take into context what it means.
Hmm.
Because oftentimes they'll use like untrained participants, and so it's like, yeah, I can make them beat on a snare drum and do 10 squats and they'll gain muscle
Hmm.
because they're like totally deconditioned. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, they gain muscle doing sets of three. I'm like, well, no, duh. Like they're lazy people that don't do
Yeah.
anything. They're like a sponge, they're a dry sponge that you just put in the water. You're like, wow, look how absorbable it is. It's like, yeah, that's what dry sponges do.
Yeah.
And so, same thing with strength. Like, you don't need to really kind of like blow yourself out. And a big part of like organizing workouts or periodization, which is called like the planning of training. It is a process of like you manipulate. So, for example, you manipulate exercise selection. Like I might
Hmm.
choose certain exercises at different points of your training. Or like one is to kind of prime yourself to there's something called the transmutation phase, where like I might do
Yeah.
an exercise like now because I know 6 weeks from now it's going to help you.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Or 12 weeks from now it's going to help you. And there's like a whole science to that as well. But also like we change the reps, for example. But the whole point of all that rigmarole and taking the time to do that kind of stuff is because we're trying to manage recovery,
Mm.
like more than anything. So it's like if you're training really hard, it's like digging a hole because training is stress.
Hmm.
And there's two types of stress. You have distress, which is like not good, like me chopping my arm off is stress, not helpful though. That's distress. And then we have like eustress, which is good stress. So working out, for example, like there's something called free radicals, which are usually said to like cause things like cancer, for example.
Hmm.
They are very problematic. But if you were to take like my blood after like right after a workout, like right when I'm done, there'll be a ton of free radicals in there. And you'd be like, wow, this guy's dying. Like if you didn't have the context of like,
Mm-hmm.
I just worked out, you'd be like, this guy's dead or dying, or like he's gonna
Mm-hmm.
have cancer in like 10 years, whatever. The fact, what happens though is like my body in response to that upregulates antioxidant production to negate that.
Mm.
And so that's why exercise is hormetic or healthy,
Yeah.
because you're upregulating all the healthy processes. But if
Yeah.
you never initiate the stress,
It never.
then you
Yeah.
never get that response. The same thing
Yeah.
with inflammation. Like inflammation, for example, is something that's good. Like in, not chronic low grade inflammation, but
Yeah.
if you're working out and you're never sore, you're never having like fatigue, you're probably literally just wasting your time, because you need to have that stress to build
Mm-hmm.
yourself up to be stronger, more muscle, and also to like get some of those positive adaptations from it.
Mm.
And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong as well, is like, for one, they don't plan their training, which is already a mistake in the first
Yeah.
place. And you can kind of get away with not planning it, if you're smart and super intuitive. And I've known people like that where they just like, today I was tired, so I trained a little lighter.
Mm.
Like cool. It's still, arguably, in my opinion, it's not the best way to do things, but it is a decent way to do
Yeah.
things. It's just most people don't have that intuition,
Yeah.
and they don't have like a quantifiable way of like, for example, a lot of my clients like have their workouts organized, so I know how many sets they're doing in a day
Mm-hmm.
and each week on a certain day. And it's like, if I'm not just gonna like all of a sudden go from them doing like 20 sets of workout to 46.
Yeah.
Whereas other people, it's like, hey, how many sets did you do today of your exercise? They're like, I don't know, I did like one over there, and I did this thing. I did like some of those, and I did like 20 minutes on elliptical. And it's like, okay, but you don't even look tired. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't think you really did anything.
That's like you were saying. It's like, hey, I went to the basketball court and I shot 10 free throws and 26 threes. I felt tired, so I left.
Yeah.
Like you
There
didn't get
has to
it.
be purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Oh
I,
well.
I think that's where
Yes.
like a lot of people can kind of, with their exercise routine, what they kind of need to do is you need to start with the total amount of days a week you're willing to train. And in my opinion, if it's 1 day a week, uh,
That
I'm
should be
sorry, but
hell.
that's just like inexcusable. I'm sure there's like a coal miner out there with 16 kids that only has 1 day a week to train. But other than that, like if you're not that guy, like you have more than 1 day a week. If you have a Netflix subscription, you have more than 1 day a week. If you have a Hulu,
Uh,
if you got Disney Plus, if you even own a TV, you got more than one
you
day a
can
week to
work out
train.
while watching TV.
You could work, yeah, like there's ways to make this happen, people. So I
Yeah.
just don't really accept that as like a excuse anymore. If you say you're only willing to commit to 1 day a week, that's fine. But the trade off is now you just have to never get results,
Yeah.
because 1 day a week is just not enough. I remember actually, at the seminar I'm going to, I went like 2 years ago to a similar one there, and somebody asked the question like, well, what if my client's working out once a week? How should we organize the workout? And the guy's like a French Canadian dude. He's just like, well, if they're working out once a week, you could do whatever you want because it doesn't matter. They're not going to get results. I'm like, that's actually a really fair point.
Yeah.
But other than that, like 2 or 3 days a week, full body's great. It's probably going to make most people feel better because they're moving more often.
Mm-hmm.
Motion is lotion. That's what I like to say. Just moving more is going to be great. Yeah, exactly. So like 2 or 3 days a week, full body, kind of like just working through all the primary movement patterns. There's no sense like I love bicep curls, love big arms. I don't have big arms, but if I could like snap my fingers right now, I would. So like there's no sense in like a regular person that trains twice a week to do bicep curls. Like
Mm.
they need to be spending, unless they could have like 2 or 3 hours in the gym. But
Mm-hmm.
if they only got an hour twice a week, it's like, dude, let's be real. Like you're gonna hit some squats, hit some kind of hinge pattern to work your glutes and your
Mm-hmm.
hamstrings, do some kind of pulling movement to work your back, do some kind of pressing movement, and then that's about an hour. If you do like 3 to 5 sets of everything and you hit some core at the end, that's pretty much all you need. Again, it's kind of like a sliding scale, right? Like the more you do, you kind of have to plan a little bit differently,
Mm-hmm.
and the more you're going to get out of it. But for the most part, like I think that's often where people go wrong, is they try to do too much and they're doing too much of the wrong thing again. Like they're doing
Mm.
like bicep curls, they're doing like these like really bad looking crunches that just like make my eyes burn every time I look at them. I'm like, what is going on over there?
I love
Or
your
like
videos.
like every man over 55 for some reason has to have the most ridiculous looking workout on the planet. I don't understand it.
Please don't
Uh,
give me that workout in 10 years.
yeah,
Keep it simple.
yeah. It's
Keep
just
it
like,
simple.
and I sometimes catch flack from like people that don't go to the gym, like, oh, why are you like making fun of people? I'm like, I'm not making fun of them. It's just like I don't understand. I legitimately don't understand how they don't feel ridiculous, because like they're doing stuff that's like it's out of the norm, right? It's like me going
Mm.
to like Times Square and like a man thong and like flip flops and be like, why is everyone looking at me weird? It's like because you're dressed funny. And so it's like if a guy comes in the gym and is like thrusting his hips in the air on the ground with like a cable attached to his neck, it's like you're doing something really weird. People are going to stare.
Yeah.
You know, and I had a conversation this morning with a client how people are, self-conscious in the gym. And I can understand that. Um, a lot of times what it is though, it's like one, people aren't looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
Two, if they are, you're probably doing something really weird.
Yep.
And that's a very simple correction. There's this thing called google.com. And if you go on google.com, you could type something in the search bar and just write workout plan. And most of those workout plans are not going to have anything weird. So you already bypassed all that. So really it's just to me it's all an excuse.
I love you, Patrick. I genuinely love the way you look at life. It is
Yeah,
it
very
is yeah,
similar.
it's very similar to we have a very we look at life pretty much the same way in a lot of ways, and I appreciate that. I will say, um I didn't when I looked at your workout and I was like, okay, I can't no Friday, do it Saturday.
Mhm.
Crap, Saturday didn't happen. And then I stayed after camp and did it yesterday. And I looked at there was one superset. I was like, oh, finally, finally. It was incline push-ups
Mhm.
to incline dumbbell press. I
Mhm.
was like, finally. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, we're about to get this. He doesn't, and I was talking match right before I did the push-ups. I was like, oh, Patrick doesn't even know I'm about to murder this. I'm like, I haven't got to really lift like this in 2 months. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is the first time I'm like, it's not just, I'm like, oh, let's go. Did the push-ups. By the 15th press, I'm like, why are my arms burning right now?
Yeah.
This is supposed to be light. Why is my arms get 20? I'm like, whoo, okay, cool. Yep. Back to the push-ups.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's called an agonist superset. So
Oh
so
my
typically,
God.
we're gonna get a little in the weeds here, people. Hope we don't mind. So you have something called the superset, which is two exercises done back to back.
Mm-hmm.
The proper way to do them is you do opposing muscle groups. So do something like your biceps and your triceps because they're on the opposite side.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm working my biceps, my triceps are resting, and then I'm working my triceps while my biceps are resting. So it's a very efficient way to train. This though, it's the same muscle group followed by the same muscle group because we got mostly chest followed by mostly chest. A
Man.
good thing about that though is you could recruit a lot more muscle fibers without going too heavy. And so
Mm-hmm.
somebody that's injured, like that's great for them, or somebody that's hurting or
Mm-hmm.
injured has joint pain. It is harder because you're doing more repetitions from that standpoint. But somebody that especially like they either can't go heavy, they don't want to. Like I'll my zoos with like 50 or 60-year-old ladies because they just don't want to go heavier. You're
Mm-hmm.
like, hey Nancy, we did the 10-pound dumbbells for 15, and you probably could have done 39 reps of them. So we're gonna go to 12 and a half. She's like, oh, I just don't know if I can handle that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, cool. Then we're just gonna do 40 reps then,
Mm-hmm.
because because now we have to achieve that feeling somehow.
Yeah.
And then so that's kind of like the point of those, just to make things a little harder. And again, this is all in kind of like in phases, right? You might do that for I'm big on like three week blocks, but 3 or 4 week training blocks. Then you switch it up a little bit. But especially anybody that's going through a lot of joint pain, like especially shoulder pain, but like push-ups are great because they're going to work the whole shoulder girdle.
I love push-ups.
Yeah, and there's so much different than the bench
I
press
love
because your
push-ups.
scapula is not pinned.
Yeah.
So you're actually going to work like your whole shoulder girdle in synchronicity essentially. So
Do you hear this, man? Do you hear him? So at the end, when he gives all the social media, make sure you hit him up because you don't have to live here to work with him. Like,
yeah, I'll remove
and
this.
he's adjusted so many workouts based on probably just the data. And we don't really talk about the workouts too much anymore. I just do what he says. But almost all my workouts, I'm doing lighter. I could easily right now take somewhere between 1680 and do some dumbbell press, and I will get them done, but I won't be able to move my shoulder the next day. So
Yeah.
I always do lighter. And like he gave me 20 reps yesterday and multiple sets. I was like, when it was done, I was like, oh my God, my arms feel. And now I got tricep pulled out. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I got all these different, like, oh, my triceps are going to be cracking. And it's my favorite muscle because as a kid, I learned early on if I want arms the size of Hulk Hogan's, I got to make my
Oh yeah,
tricep bigger.
yeah.
So
Tries are like two-thirds of the arm.
everything I did was make my tricep bigger. So the moment I work out, my triceps bulge, and I'm like, yeah, mess with me now.
That's
Like,
a good
let's
feeling.
go. So there's one thing I wanna ask you and talk about before we get you out of here.
Yep.
You have a business card.
Mhm.
It's at my gym. It's probably everywhere. that you are. It says fat and ugly with a question mark. Choose to be ugly, right?
Just be ugly.
Just be ugly. What does that mean to you?
Oh, so I was trying to find a way to market to people that actually have a sense of humor.
Well done.
So that's that's part of it. So it's like fat and ugly, just be ugly. So it's implying, you're not
Yeah.
gonna be fat anymore. Because I can't make you prettier.
Yeah.
That's like you are what your mama gave you. I can't. I had my buddy in Hawaii when you lived there. He went to a Vietnamese woman. It's like she was like cutting hair somewhere around there, and he had a picture of like Brad Pitt. He's like, oh, or one of those, not Brad Pitt, the other white guy, Tom Cruise. They all look the same to me, man. I can't tell the difference. So he sent he like
Wait, wait, stop right there for a second.
yeah. We just get canceled.
No,
Oh.
no, because me and Corey just looked at each other like a white guy just said all white guys look the same.
Well, dude,
I'm
like all those actors, it's like a
That's
like,
amazing.
They got the same facial bones. Like, I can't tell
Yeah,
the difference.
yeah,
man.
no,
It's
that's
like
awesome.
if they're next to each other and you give
That's
me their
awesome.
names, I'm like, yeah, I know who's who. But like,
I told you,
otherwise,
Patrick's a G, man.
yeah, they're all in my brain mixed up the same. But yeah, like one of those guys on the Mission Impossible movies, and like he has a picture of him. Like he's like, oh, I kind of want my hair cut like this. She's like, okay, but I only do hair. And I was like, I think you should call you ugly, dude.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So
That's
like
awesome.
same thing here. Like I can't, I'm not a plastic surgeon, so I can only do body fat. I can't make your face better. But yeah, usually I mean people look better when they look healthier. So
Yeah.
probably look better from that aspect.
Oh,
or have you ever
man.
seen a picture of like it's like you're not ugly, you're just poor.
Yeah.
They have like Tom Brady and he looked worse and he had money and he looked way
Yep.
better.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like part of it's like part of it's like definitely like a confidence thing too. But
Yeah.
a lot of it's just like, just the way you take care of yourself is big.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. So where can people find you?
Sure. So I'm Overload Strength, Overload STR. So strength in short, Overload STR on Instagram. On Substack, I have the Weekly Flex, which is a weekly newsletter I put out twice a week. So there I have weekly workouts. Those are free. Kind of more like strength training bias because I love strength. I think it's cool. I think a lot more people need it. So you probably need it too. You can never be too strong, what's it called? You can never be too strong, too pretty, or too rich.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So yeah, the Weekly Flex on Substack.com, overloadstrength.com, and then Overload STR on Instagram.
And are you able to work with people that if somebody in Australia wants to work with you, or China, or Utah, or California, since we're based in Wisconsin, can you make that work?
Yeah, everywhere. Yeah. So we got like obviously you use it like the Everfit
Mhm.
app. So I train people remotely. That's kind of like most of the people I work with right now, or they're hybrid or remote. So they're working with me online. So the app has everything. So the app has like your workouts in there, obviously your sets, your reps. There's videos for all the exercises. So it's been super helpful to new people because they could actually see the movement. They're not just like looking something up on Google. They're like, what the heck is a tape press? Or what the heck is a barbell overhead press? Is that the one I put on my neck? And it's like, don't put anything on your neck. I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
So that way you guys can have like guidance with the workout. So it's been super great for my newer people, especially because that's like, I still get this a lot. People are like, well, I'm not an athlete, so I can't get a trainer. I'm like, dude, I've trained like I had a woman that was like 74, 76, somewhere around there with a double hip replacement, a shoulder replacement. I trained her. I trained a 73-year-old man. We got him dragging like a 265-pound sled before COVID.
Let's go.
Yeah, he was like, and he was barely squatting his body weight. Then 3 weeks in, he was goblet squatting a 30-pound dumbbell. And that's something he like really bought into the training. He was like, once he started feeling like how much better his body felt, that dude was like, he didn't skip a single day in the gym. That was one of my most consistent guys. He was great. So yeah, like I work with everybody, and that's been super helpful for some of the newer people, especially just to get some more guidance remotely.
Well, you heard it here. Check them out. Hit them up online, and let's get it cracking. Patrick, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Man, you know what? You control you. We out. Peace. Oh, that was awesome.
Groovy.
You said it's funny because you were saying something.
Oh, Laney's there.
Yeah, she tuned in